What is up, guys? In today's video, we're talking about a significant uptrend in temperatures that's going to cause a huge heat wave across a lot of the US and a ton of severe weather that is upcoming. Let's get right into today's video. The first thing we're going to talk about in today's video is an enhanced risk of severe weather that we do have an effect ranging from Dickinson to Bismarck, Minute, all the way over to Grand Forks, Fargo, all the way over to the Duluth areas, with this big enhanced risk of severe weather that is pretty rare across these areas in North Dakota, into Minnesota, and portions of Wisconsin. Now, we also have a significant Day 1, 10% significant risk of tornadoes. Now, this is really rare. The last time we've had this high of a tornado risk was back in like 2019 in this actual region out here. So if you are in Fargo, Jamestown, Carrington, Bemidji, all the way up to Bismarck, McCluskey, and Washburn, be prepared, as we could see some strong tornadoes and several tornadoes possible in the yellow areas and even the brown regions here. So be really weather aware for this tornado risk that we do have today, where these storms are going to start to form around the late afternoon to evening hours here. Now, the wind risk is a 30% significant risk of wind ranging from Dickinson all the way over to Duluth, including Hibbing, Fargo, Grand Forks, Jamestown, Bismarck, Carrington. Anywhere in these areas, you could see upwards of 75 miles an hour winds, possibly even more than that in this significant wind risk, as we do have that black hatched area, which does mean we have the risk for 75 miles an hour winds or more. So be really weather aware in these areas for strong wind damage. Now, not just that, we also have a significant risk of hail across these areas, ranging. The significant area for hail is in that black hatched region, meaning anywhere in that region could see upwards of 2-inch in diameter hail, or potentially even greater, ranging all the way from Montana all the way over to Wisconsin, with areas like Rhinelander all the way over to Ironwood, Ashland, Duluth, Grand Rapids, Hibbing, Grand Forks, Dickinson, and Devil's Lake, with the highest risk area in the yellow and even the red regions, and the highest risk for hail for today. So be really weather aware for tornadoes, wind damage, and hail for today across these regions. Now, for day 2, this severe weather risk does kind of extend a little bit further to the east, across portions of Michigan, the upper peninsula of Michigan, all the way over to New York and Pennsylvania regions, with part of the severe weather risk will probably include portions of Toronto and probably those areas in portions of Canada there for tomorrow. But this risk area does include Marquette, Traverse City, over to Sandusky, Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse, and Utica, and New York and Michigan, the upper peninsula of Michigan regions. Now, the tornado risk is definitely possible, but it's pretty low. I do think we could maybe see an isolated tornado or two in these green regions, so be weather aware for that. Now, the wind risk regions, we do have a 15% chance of wind, so be really weather aware for wind damage tomorrow in Marquette, Escanaba, Traverse City, and Sault Ste. Marie, Toronto, potentially, because they're not in the risk area, but they're in Canada right next to it, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, and the Utica and Kingston regions, all under this severe weather risk, and Watertown. Now, the hail risk is a little bit lower in portions of New York, but we do have a risk of hail in portions of Michigan, the upper peninsula of Michigan. So if you're in Traverse City, Marquette, Manistee, into Sault Ste. Marie, into Escanaba, be weather aware for some isolated hail damage that we could have for these risk areas for tomorrow. Now, the D3 severe weather outlook is a little bit further out, but this risk area does push a little bit further to the west, with the main risk areas being across North Platte, Sioux City, Sioux Falls, up to Clear Lake, St. Cloud, Firkus Falls, Bemidji, and Hibbing, and International Falls, all under the severe weather risk, ranging from Nebraska all the way up to South Dakota, Minnesota, and North Dakota, with the main risk areas probably being wind and hail with an isolated tornado possible. So be weather aware. Once we get closer to this, we will get more details for this risk area, but be weather aware on day 3, which would be 2 days from today. So be weather aware for that in these regions in Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, and North Dakota on day 3. Now, the timing for these storms that we are going to see today across the enhanced risk of severe weather, we're looking at the NAM 3-kilometer run, because the HWR is just kind of inaccurate. I mean, it could be accurate, but it's showing not as much of a significant storms on the HWR. But if we look at the NAM 3-kilometer, it says our first storm start to develop across the 6 p.m. time frame across portions of North Dakota into South Dakota times, and is going to push straight to the east. And now, once these storms form, they are going to absolutely explode. as we have tons of instability in the air from 2,000, almost 4,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE across portions of North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, and this is the energy for thunderstorms to form, and we'll have plenty of it. Also, we are going to have a lot of significant tornado parameters, so if we get any storms that tap into this environment, it could cause significant tornadoes across these areas in portions of North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, with the highest risk area being across these regions right here for significant severe weather, so you do need to be really, really weather aware for today, and there's a great environment for supercells with this too. Now, these storms will get really big and start to develop here. This is what it looks like around the 8 p.m. time frame with it really approaching portions of central South Dakota into portions of western North Dakota here, and then we'll grow upscale, and we could see a line potentially congeal and cause a big wind and damage risk across portions of Minnesota later in the night around the 11 p.m. time frame. But we could see a lot of big storms, if we do see any isolated cells like this one right here, these could cause big tornadoes. But if we do see any cells that are more congealed together, they will cause more of a wind damage threat and less of a hail and tornado threat. But just tons of storms that we could have today that will linger from basically all the way from 7 p.m. all the way through 3 to 4 a.m. time frame across these regions, with the peak of the severe weather probably around the 10 to 11 p.m. time frame across these regions. So late night severe weather risk for tonight is where you do need to be really, really weather aware in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota areas. Now, we also are going to see a significant heat wave across a lot of the U.S. that is upcoming, basically starting already today, and it's going to linger all the way through Wednesday here across a lot of the central U.S. and the midwestern part of the U.S. Anywhere in these regions, in these dark pinkish kind of red, dark red to pinkish kind of brownish colors, is where we could see really, really big time heat in Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, where we could see some really, really high temperatures starting already today on Friday, with heat temperatures with the heat index basically above 100 degrees across a lot of these areas. So if you are in these regions, you do need to be really, really prepared. And if you are going outside, do not stay outside for too long. Make sure to drink a lot of fluids, as heat wave and a heat exhaustion is possible across a lot of these areas, with heat stroke being possible when this heat starts to come in. It's going to linger through tomorrow on Saturday, with a lot of this heat coming in towards Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi. So anywhere in these areas right here could see upwards of 100 to maybe even reaching 110 degrees in portions of Iowa on Saturday. So really, really hot summer heat's really going to come across a lot of these regions, and this is going to be the hottest temperatures of the year so far, and is going to linger through Sunday all the way to Monday and even to Tuesday and Wednesday. So just a lot of hot temperatures ongoing and this coming. Alright, I hope everybody did enjoy today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more severe weather updates, so you are prepared for storms and so you're weather aware when the next weather strikes. We're going to see a lot of severe weather over the next few days or so, especially in the upper Midwest of the regions, and a big heat wave that is going to head through a lot of the central and midwestern portions of the U.S., so be really prepared for that. Hope you guys did like today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and bye everybody.